All right. This morning we're going to talk a little bit about a topic that's pretty important, pretty relevant to us. I found a study that actually compared what they call multi-component to single component training. And so a component is defined as strength, balance, flexibility, posture, different types of components. We call them pillars in Balance University. And so this study, what it did was it took a group of studies and evaluated them and went through these studies of multi-component and single component programs. Balance University would be a multi-component, strength, posture, flexibility, and balance. Something like, I don't know necessarily Tai Chi, but something that's just focusing on one component, let's say balance. And all you do is it'd be like us having just the balance pillar or just the strength pillar. All right, we have a variety. So what they did was they compared these guys, multiple modalities. It was combining, they looked at multi-component, like I was saying, training programs at strength, balance, and aerobic exercises. That's important. I left that out, a component of aerobic exercise. Who likes aerobic exercise? Have you ever seen somebody smile when they run? No, I don't think I have. Maybe when they were crossing the finish line, you know why they're smiling? Because they're done. So in these controlled trials, the age range was 6 to 80. The programs, single and multi, lasted about 6 weeks respectively. Now, when it came to testing what they were testing for, which program worked the best? Okay, so what are my metrics? What are my parameters? What am I measuring to determine that? Well, they're measuring your balance. They're measuring your gait speed. They're also going to measure some physiological measures like your VO2 max, your lean body mass, and your bone density, which is important as we age, right? So you've got a few metrics there that they're gonna measure. And so they also used what's called a tug test. That's a time, get up and go. Some of you may have even done that in your physician's office, your primary. What that is it's a test to test your leg strength, your balance, your gait speed, your body control. And you sit in a chair and the doctor says go, you stand, you walk about 10 feet, turn around and walk back. Now there's little scores that the doctor is watching that he's going to check off. Did you use your hands to get out of the chair? Could you get out of the chair? Did you stumble when you turn? All those little things. Was your gait a healthy gait pattern? All those little things you're going to get a score for. And at the end, it'll score it out and it'll tell you whether you're a fall risk or not based on your score. So that was one of the metrics used. And what they found was that those that used a multi-component modeled program, like Balance University, surpassed the single component by decreasing their tug test by a second, an 8 to 20% improvement in their reach, right? So they're talking about your flexibility there, just how far you can bend over and reach without losing your balance, and a 55% increase, and this looks like CS, 30 repetitions. It looks like maybe a sit to stand program where you're sitting and standing. It was maybe a 30%. Don't quote me on that, but that's what this is looking like. We call it different things depending on where you are in the world. So there was a noticeable increase in the physical side. Now let's look at physiological. The VO2 max rose, the lean body mass rose by 1.2 kilograms, and your bone density, the DEXA scan scores by a few percent points. Now, the program they compared it against particularly was this program called Tai Chi Chuan. You guys have heard of that, haven't you? Well, I didn't think you did because I'd never heard of it, so I looked it up. It's considered to be part of this Tai Chi Chuan that's being compared as the single component specifically, was part of a traditional Chinese martial arts. It comprises of various styles that have evolved historically from the Qin, the Yang, and the Wu and Sun families. This stuff is centuries old, all right? And it's mainly Chinese. You'll see it in the Eastern countries. But at the end of the day, right, and this is the payoff pitch, at the end of the day, what they found was there's not much of a difference between single component and multi-component when it comes to the physical side. So in other words, they weren't considering, a second off your tug test to be considerable. I think that is, but they were calling it comparable. Here's the difference. All right, here's where the multi-component separates themselves. When it comes to multi-component, implementing those programs, emphasizing balance and targeted fall prevention, reduce the fall risk in older adults by 21%. That's your difference. And when it comes to living strong, mobile, and independent for the rest of your life, living at home for the rest of your life, that 21%, I will take it every day. All right? Any questions? Let's get it done. We can't finish until we start. So with that, let me have you stand. Let's go behind our chairs.